Welcome back, people. Um, Hope you're having a good day. Thank you for the support on my last couple videos. I'm loving it, guy. I got 2 subs. You know what I'm saying? Give me 50 subscribers. You feel me? Um, what am I about to say? Today we're talking about Charlamagne the God. Specific Charlamagne the God's political views on Joe Biden. And we're gonna read this article and watch a couple YouTube videos. And it just makes me angry because people listen. Well, I mean, the people he's Charlamagne speaking to really don't matter because they don't vote. Like, they don't matter. But like when he's like going on CNN and all these places, and he's just so disrespectful to Biden. It's so disrespectful. Like, it's insane to me. It just makes no sense at all. None. And it just makes me angry. And that's why I wanted to make a video about this, because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. Like, if we look at the facts, Joe Biden is a great president. He's doing amazing. He came in with COVID. The economy has recovered. He did enacted a lot of legislation for in his 4 year in the 4 years that he's had, with not having but having tight splits in the Senate, and now in the House. Now, like, he's getting stuff passed that hasn't stopped him. Um, he's doing good foreign policy wise. You know what I'm saying, with Ukraine and Israel, and he's doing good foreign policy. People respecting America's. Us being the leader again. We're not gonna fall through just leave deals for no reason. Okay, so he's doing good, and I think people should respect that and just show him some love, right? So we're just gonna start reading this article. I got a lot of points. We're just gonna get to them when I catch keywords. Okay. It starts. It's just that he thinks this article was made by Barkington Booker. Barkington Booker is Brackington Booker. That's what it might be. Bark. Yeah, Brack. It's Brack. Okay, Brackington Booker. It's just that he thinks Joe Biden is a lousy messenger, and that he lacks the basic political skills that whatever one thinks about the guy Donald Trump possesses. Now, first sentence is dumb. I mean, this isn't a direct quote, but I'm sure he does believe this. I hope so, anyways. This is dumb. Like, as I just told you in my little introduction, like, Biden does everything better than Trump, except like the way he speaks. That's it. That's it. Really. Other than that, I think I think Biden does almost everything better. Everything. Almost everything better. I guess, yeah, speech, or maybe like demeanor, like the way they carry themselves. Maybe Trump does a little bit better on that, he seems more energetic and stuff, even though they're the same age. People see Sleepy Joe, and then when they see Trump, they don't see like Orange Man who is tired and stumbling. And even though he does that, like, he just says stuff sometimes that makes no sense. They don't really recognize it with Trump. And when Biden does it, it's a crazy deal. But when Trump does it, it's just like, oh, it's a mistake. They're near the same age. Like I don't get it, right? So, but in reality, other than that, Biden does everything better. He has enacted more policies. He's gotten more of the policies that he pushed forward through. He's foreign policy is way better. Built relationships with our people, rebuilt them. Like, this is just he's a normal president. He's not stoking the fire. He's not going, arrest Donald Trump. Yeah, I got the DOJ to do it. He's not. He's doing everything by the book. He's just normal, which is not something we had. Trump was not normal, right? And so, in every facet except that one I just said, Biden is better than Trump in every capacity. Okay, and so um, let's continue. Instead of thinking of better ways to play up um, policy achievements, he argues Democrats rely too much on depicting former President Trump as a crook. It's almost like a quote. It's almost like Democrats are doing this purity test. America is not pure. The people of America are not pure. We're flawed. He said, quote, I am not looking for my politicians to be pure. I'm looking for my politicians to be effective, close quote. Now, this is another dumb statement. Maybe it's out of context. I don't know. But I feel like in my mind, it implies Trump is more effective than Biden. Because you're saying we don't care if Trump has 91 felony charges. He's indicted for 91 felony charges. He's, I want him to be effective. Now, I don't think he's implying that because it just doesn't make sense. But if he is, that's just dumb. Like it just makes me think you don't know, like you don't understand how politics works. Biden has been very effective. Biden got an infrastructure bill through in a Senate that we had a 1 vote lead in because of the VP. I don't think you understand that. Trump had the House in the Senate, historic, got rid of Obamacare and couldn't replace it with another healthcare plan. He had both the House and the Senate and couldn't do that. He had the House and the Senate, couldn't build the wall. Like, he had the House and the Senate and just did tax reforms. Like, it's absurd. He had the House and the Senate and couldn't get none of his stuff through. Couldn't get Mexico to build the wall and get Mexico to pay. He had to do make it a national emergency and get through the funds from the Pentagon to build the wall that never got built. Right? And so, I'm saying, like, and what's wrong with saying Trump is a crook? At the end of the day, if your president, if somebody, he already lost. If somebody you was voting for had 91 felony charges, and these are some serious charges, and if you read the indictments, it is not looking good. It looks, even if he gets not guilty on all of it, he did it. He did it. The Mar-a-Lago, where he took the documents and held them for a year, and then they finally were like, oh, let me get the documents. So he gave them the documents, but he lied to one set of lawyers and told another lawyer to move the documents down to Mar-a-Lago. And, you know what I'm saying? Or and like, what? And had them in the open where thousands of guests was coming every day. Workers was going in there like classified stuff and hid it on purpose because he just wanted it because it was his. He knew it wasn't classified. I showed it to other people. Like, he's a crook. And on those charges alone, the stuff he did in Georgia, the fake electors, like they literally had people, they made documents. They got people to go up to state capitol buildings to process the electors in that state and try to get them in. They were fake. They were not certified. They got these signed. They got like notoriety. Like they looked official. And they did that. So like, he's a crook. Saying he's a crook. Like, people shouldn't vote for Trump just because of that. Just because he said the election was fake and he has no evidence and he's still talking about it 3 years later. They shouldn't vote for him just for that. So I understand that you're mad that they just keep saying that, but it's the truth. And I don't think people understand that in my mind, in the minds of other people, it's really weird that somebody that has 91 felony count charges, something like that, like it's a lot. The first time in history. And nobody, none of the people in this party care. Like a still mass majority is still supporting him. That is like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So why wouldn't I say the obvious thing? Okay? Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? Okay. Let's go. And increasingly, Charlamagne appraisal of the Biden administration has been sour, while he anguishes at the thought of a 2020 rematch, the radio personality gives Trump props for commanding attention and selling ideas. Trump been talking about the same stuff for 3 years. Trump relentlessly touted, or in some cases gave himself outsized credit for policies he enacted as president. He signed the First Step Act into law, which boasted modest reforms to the federal criminal justice system. He pardoned rappers Lil Wayne and Kodak Black, and he sent stimulus checks, or what a lot of folks commonly refer to them as stimmies, during the first year of his campaign. Imagine, well, I'll go in this first part. Like, so think about this. Like, Trump had 4 years. He had the House and the Senate for 2 years or something like that, for a good chunk of time or something like that. I don't know how long it was, but for a good period. And all he got passed was the First Step Act. This is all he can think of. Pardoning Lil Wayne and Kodak Black, and stimulus checks. That's all he can say. That's good. And he's saying that because, the next quote, imagine you felt like you've never gotten anything from the government, which is dumb. And you don't know how politics works. And you just know you just got this check in the mail with Trump's name on it. Charlamagne said, you would feel like he did something. Now, this is just dumb. Now, these people that don't know about politics don't vote. So I don't really care about them. But at the same time, I do, because, oh my God. And another sad part about this is, apparently Charlamagne, a Hall of Famer radio host, he's amazing. He's funny. I love him. But when he talks about politics, it's just dumb. Okay. He says, if you don't know how politics works, I mean, you're holding this opinion. And so do you not know how politics works? Okay. You're saying that, like, this outward stuff that doesn't matter, like Lil Wayne and Kodak Black being pardoned, that doesn't matter. It doesn't help the country. Like, it doesn't. They might have actually did it and were criminals and deserve to be in jail. That's not a good thing. If they were actually criminals and deserve to go to jail. Like, that's not a good thing. Might look good, but it didn't do anything for the country. Okay? And then stimulus checks. Like, you would have got stimulus checks under any president, first of all. And he didn't want to. He could have gave you more money. He didn't want to. Okay? So, like, this is all you got. And you're saying that you feel like Trump would have gave you something. Like, if you think this way, if you think that all this stuff is why you should vote for Trump, like, I don't want you to vote. You're dumb. Like, you need help. Like, really. Like, that's just dumb. That's just dumb. And for Charlamagne to know about politics and still talk terrible on Biden, like, he's not better than this. I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay? I don't get it. He says Biden sent checks too, but Charlamagne argues that he failed to play it up the way his predecessors did. Charlamagne does not consider himself a Democrat or Republican, a position he says allows him to call bullshit on empty campaign rhetoric politicians spew when they decide it's time to engage black audiences to waggle up votes, which is dumb. I could be a Democrat and say, oh, they did bad here. Like, the Democrats did bad. That's just dumb, okay? Like, that's dumb, okay? That's dumb. But, quote, it's 2024. It's a race between the cowards, the crooks, and the couch, he said, referring to Biden, Trump, and the option of staying home. Charlamagne suspects the couch will win. Now, this just shows you that you shouldn't listen to everybody on politics, because Charlamagne doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't. He's saying that in 2024, like, the couch is going to win. Now, what was the 2020 race? What was it? What was the 2020 race? Think about this. We had Sleepy Joe and Trump. How many votes did Biden get? Wasn't it 80 million? All-time historic numbers? Like, most of all time? And then who got the second most of all time? It was Trump in the same election. So if you think people are going to sit on the couch, you just don't understand politics. Because obviously, if records number of people came out the first time, I don't know why you think people would sit on the couch this time. Obviously, people don't like Trump, and they'd rather vote for Biden than Trump. And that's why record numbers of people came out. And a lot of people like Trump. So they vote for Trump. Whatever reason they vote for Biden. They like Biden more than they like Trump. obviously, from the votes, the historic numbers of votes, and people found it was important to vote. Okay, so this is dumb. And going back up, he said Biden sent checks too, but Charlamagne argues that he failed to play it up the way his predecessor did. And I would tell you, like I said earlier, the one thing Trump does do better than Biden is he does play stuff up better. He does the way he talks. He's always talking about himself and what he did and trying to take credit for something, even if he really doesn't deserve credit for it, like gas prices. So he does do that better, but like Trump's party supports him hand and foot. Maybe not as much now, but I mean he still owns the people in the party, the people who vote. But like that's not what happens in the Democratic Party. Like the approval rating for Biden is like 35%. But like all those people who disapprove of Biden and all those people who vote that they would rather have another candidate, they're voting for Biden. You understand me? They're like hating. They just can't seem to understand all the great things Joe Biden has done. And like so they're hating. Like when Trump said he did something, everybody in the Republican Party said he did it too. Like I don't think you understand that like one person doesn't spread a message. It's a group of people supporting that message. And when your own party is hating on your achievements and talking about how you're stumbling and sleepy and how you speak and what you're not doing, not what you did, not all the stuff you're doing, like not how good of a job you're doing. They're just talking about bad stuff and the stuff you haven't got in yet. Like they're just focusing on the terrible. They don't really care about the good. You do good stuff. They're like, oh, it's supposed to be like you're supposed to give us good stuff. But for Trump, he frees Kodak Black and does a First Step Act and only does tax reform and doesn't do anything else he said he was going to do. And he's amazing. But Biden does way more than that in a Senate we only had one seat in above. And like, what are we doing? It doesn't make sense. If you really think about it, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Like there's just like it doesn't. The Democrats be hating on Joe. Charlamagne is one of those people. He said he's not Democrat. He's a Democrat. He hates on Joe Biden. He's a hater. Everybody does it. All the people, they don't do it. And in the Republican Party, they follow hand and foot, even when they disagree. That's not the way it is in the Democratic Party. So you get mad at Biden for not playing it up. But when Biden plays it up, you just point to something else. You just point to something else. You just, like, so come on. Like, it's not even, y'all not even giving him a fair shake. You're not. I mean, you're not. Like, Biden did the CHIPS Act, the infrastructure bill, that second round of stimulus. What else? He's doing good in Ukraine. He's doing good in Israel. What else? Like, it's just so much compared to Trump. It's so much better. Even compared to other presidents in the past. Biden did more than Obama. He definitely did more than Bush. He done brought the economy back. If you're going to give Trump credit for the economy, you got to give Biden credit for the economy. He came in on COVID. So Trump was in there for 3 years. He came in off Obama. The economy was doing good when Obama left. He comes in. Trump is like, oh, this is my economy. We're doing amazing. He's getting all the people are crediting him for the economy, even though it was doing great before. COVID happens. The economy goes bad and it's low record jobs. And that's not Trump's fault, even though he was president. But then we come in and a lot of consequences from that COVID stuff, the inflation, all that higher gas, all that. Biden is getting blamed for that. And then the economy gets good and people are still saying, oh, I feel broke. Oh, Biden's not getting a fair shake. He's just not. And it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. And if you just look, this ain't even that many words. Like, this might be 300 words. Maybe, bro. and this is just it's just a bunch of dumb stuff, bro. It's dumb. If you look at the facts, like all of this is disproven. It is. It is. Now let's just go watch a video. Let's watch a video.
Which talked to
be elected African American community.
listen to by asking.
See, look, black people
In these days.
I know what they're doing. They're using me and the things that I say about President Biden administration to say, see, look, black people are totally, fed up with Biden and his administration. I don't speak for all black people. Black people are not monolithic. My name is Leonard McKelvey.
Thank God.
They call me Charlamagne the God from Mount South Carolina. I speak for me and my perspective.
Yeah, who is your audience? Tell me the demo of your audience. Who are they?
I mean, it varies, right? Because I'm 45 years old now. So, we've been number one, 18 to 34 the last few months, but we've also been in. I think my audience is just a diverse group of people, like, the youth, like some people may think.
Black people pulling away from the Democratic Party. I mean, the numbers don't necessarily show it. Let's just put these numbers
They don't.
up.
They're still going to vote for black people.
34 overall.
This is just like a narrative you're pushing. So like, nobody's voting for Trump. No black people are voting for Trump. They're not, okay?
69-20. I'm not even sure these numbers are accurate this far out from an election. Women voters of color, which is a mix, not just black voters. You can see the numbers there. 2/3 pretty much still support Democrats. Kamala Harris more popular, obviously, with black voters than she is with voters. You've been in.
And you know this too, because you've also been not just in the business, but in the business of serving the culture for so long. I have been in meeting after meeting, both on the Hill and off the Hill, with the party about their failure to reach their base, their most faithful base. 4 years. This is not new information. I don't know why we're surprised. I don't know why folks they said I'm not holding them accountable on segments with them and all of that. Leonard is not saying
what's about to happen is she's about to make an absurd comparison.
The past chairs of the Congressional Black Caucus say to the party, they're saying you're not investing enough in our community. Find the lie. Jamie Harrison will tell you that that is indeed the case, that they are working on it to change it. So why are we upset when people are pointing out the facts? The facts are enough black consultants aren't hired. Tell me 5 black pollsters you have. You can't because you have not created that bench. Tell me the black candidates that you have. You've been forced to ensure that that bench is growing by the Congressional Black Caucus. You tell me the number of consultants you hire. Tell me with a fact, with a straight face, that white boys don't run the Democratic Party. And I'll call you a lie all day long. Now, that does not mean that we should go and support a fascist. I don't think that either of us are saying that.
I mean, there's only like how many percent of black people are in the nation? Like, there's just no way if black people ran the Democratic Party. Like, the majority of Democrats are white, right? Black people are like 13% of the population. Like, there's no way they're running the Democratic Party, okay? They're like, white people are always going to run the Democratic Party. And until black people become a majority. Like, it's just the way it's going to happen. Like, now, maybe more black people get in. I'm sure there's tons of black people in the Democratic Party. Just saying white people run the Democratic Party is it's so dumb. And it doesn't make sense because, like, the Democratic Party is literally, like, that's the party of racial issues and LGBTQ and, like people in the Democratic Party literally, like, cook themselves out to, like, minorities. And, like leftists, they're literally like, oh, yeah, black people can be racist because they've been oppressed and they don't have any power. Like, they cut themselves out to black people. Like, they just go canceling people for anything they say. Like, whatever.
But mainstream media never reports me saying, because I'm never saying, I may talk about Joe Biden and his shortcomings, but I also say Donald Trump is the end of democracy as we know it.
Yeah.
And we've seen it. Like, he attempted a coup of this country to overturn, the vote. So it's like
and the votes of people who look like us.
That's right. So we can see.
And it's really, he said he's the end of democracy. But a question I got because there's another thing where he said he regretted voting for Joe Biden. I don't got the context for that or nothing. But a question, if I could ever talk to Charlamagne the God, I would ask him. Well, the one question I would ask him, I just forgot it. I would ask him if, say Trump didn't do the coup, would you vote for Trump over Biden? Like, before Trump became the end of democracy, would you vote for Biden over Trump? And if that's a yes, if that's a no or a yes, however you formulate the question, if you would vote for Trump over Biden if he didn't try to coup the government, like, whatever. I really want to ask him that question.
We see what he's capable of.
Yeah. And the question, though, I think, and you do radio, and I do love radio. I do miss radio because you get to talk to people. You get to talk to actual people and callers. So when people are calling you, and specifically black people, what are they saying they feel they have not gotten out of having voted consistently for Democrats and for Joe Biden?
Upward mobility. Simple as that. Like, people want security, and a lot of that security is financial. Like, it's simple and plain. And it's been, whether it was President Obama, whether it was, you know, all the way back to Clinton to now Joe Biden, they feel like the Democratic Party has never promised that. And it's like right now the problem I'm having with my listeners, what am I supposed to tell them? Like, what am I supposed to tell them other than, look, man, Donald Trump is the fascist. You may think things can't get worse, but they absolutely positively.
I mean, you can tell them that Biden has passed the CHIPS Act, the infrastructure bill, I don't know. You can tell them like what Biden did, but whatever.
Positively can't.
All the stuff Biden did.
But if they feel like, I've already lived through a Trump presidency. I lived through Reagan. How much worse can that get? Like, it's like, what do I tell them? They're not.
Like, if you can't come up with a response to say some good stuff about what Biden did, like, you're not looking at the facts. You're just not.
Afraid of just telling them to go out and vote because of fear anymore.
And the thing is, we saw, and you're not.
And that's how you should vote. You should vote for the best candidate, bro. This is what people don't understand about the political system. Bro, you're not always gonna get the perfect candidate that you want. We're talking about millions of people voting for first of all, they're voting for multiple people in the primary. Then they pick one. So now you might be mad that you didn't get the primary person that you wanted. And now he represents your whole party and you do nation votes. Okay? So you're not going to get, like, the whole point of democracy and the way our system is set up is conflict. It's conflict. So one group of people just can't get everything they want to get. Okay? It's conflict. It's supposed to be, kind of slow and, it's a process. You need a lot of pieces in place because if you just needed 10 people to change something, I mean, anybody could change anything and the people might not even agree with that. Okay. So, it's just
to stand up and shout out in church, but we all watched what happened inside Mother Emanuel. And this was not black people standing up. This was non-black folks, but they were very passionate about Gaza. And you saw a black woman defend Joe Biden. That's the base that's going to vote for him, right?
Yeah, that's the base that won him the 2020 election. Yeah.
So when you're thinking about things like, we both talked about the sexy red thing offline, that, people are like, I got a stimmy with Donald Trump's name on it. So I know I got it. When Biden sent me a stimmy, I don't remember it.
Yes.
On Gaza, it's a complicated thing because
talking about the stimmy, like, if you got a stimmy first, like, that was the first time we ever got stimmies. So if you got that first thing for Trump in the middle of COVID when you really needed the money, you're going to remember that way more than Biden gave it to you a second time. It's just like another check. But whatever.
Folks see those Palestinians and they see themselves.
Yes.
So with all of these issues, do you feel that the administration,
Palestinians get bombed?
Do they seem to understand that they do have a problem, particularly with younger black voters, on economics on Gaza?
I think that this is a complicated issue. And the reason for that is, just as well as we have friends who work in this administration. We have some friends who have been in there fighting tooth and nail to ensure the administration doesn't just see it, but addresses it.
Right.
The problem that we have, I think part of what Leonard is addressing is when a foreign country needs aid, the United States acts and promptly, and they will figure out a way to answer the call even without an act of Congress.
Yeah.
When it comes time for black people to need aid, even a reparations discussion, people are like, wait, reparations? Where? Why? Right. And that is really the problem. We have a people who are dying literally to feel heard, to feel.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. The way to get heard is to vote. First of all, they don't understand that though. It's not my fault. You need to explain that. You don't need to tell people. You don't need to tell people that both of these candidates suck. The couch is gonna win. Like, that's not what you. If you to get heard, you vote. I hope you know that, right? If the young people voted, like, the election would be way different. I don't think you understand that. That's how many young people there are. But that's how you get heard. You vote. You participate in the system. You don't, both parties are bad. They're not doing what you want to do, so we're not even going to participate. Because if you don't vote, why would I do anything you want? Because you don't vote me in or out. You don't control if I get elected. And that's what matters. You represent the people that elect you. And if you're getting elected by old people, you're going to do what old people want. Okay? Just an example. So if you don't vote, nobody cares about what people say on Twitter. They care about who puts what in that ballot box. And that was just a tangent, random tangent that popped in my mind. She compared reparations. Charlamagne didn't say anything. He's looking straight into the camera. Reparations to sending funds to a foreign country. Do you not understand? She compared reparations to, now, let's just break down how complex reparations is. When did slavery end? Like the 1800s? Well, would that count as the 1700s? I don't know. Or the 1900s? Is a year up. So is the 1900s? It's 18, but I'm pretty sure that's how it would work. So that's when slavery ended, right? Don't you think that's when we would have got reparations? That's when, after that's one step in the thing. One complicated. Now, I believe black people should get reparations. Before I break this down, I do. Even though how complex, we've been wronged systemically throughout our whole time here on the USA, and it's way better now. Like, it's amazing now. But that harm is affecting the black community today, because that's never that remedy. We're still behind, and us being behind, being poor, it done messed up the community. Really, it really has. And so we need something needs to. I think reparations in the form of helping out the community and schools and all that to catch us up. But the complexity of reparations. Okay, we didn't get them after the Japanese Americans that got locked up. They got reparations shortly after it happened. It's 2023. It's been 400 years since slavery ended, right? And I know a bunch of other stuff. You could include sharecropping, Jim Crow. I would include all that in reparations, redlining and all that. But I'm just saying, slavery ended 400 years ago. So you're talking about giving money to a group of people for something that happened that, nobody alive has participated in slavery. Or their grandparents. Maybe there might be some people who were in sharecropping, but you see what I'm saying? Jim Crow, so that's better if you would include that in reparations and stuff like redlining and stuff like that. But we're talking, this is so far. This is giving, and then so you're saying it's just really hard to wrap your brain around it, especially if you're not black. You might be thinking why would we, it's been 400 years, which they, they should be caught up. They have all the same rights now. Okay, that's really hard. That's a long time, right? Point number 2. What would you give money to? What black people? How would you say you was giving out money, right? Would you have to be a certain percentage of black to get a check? How are you giving money? Are you gonna track it all to make sure that only people who were from slaves get checks in America? That is very complicated. And that's if you're giving out money. That is very complicated. Very complicated. Very. Okay. And then number 3, the political will. The political will for reparations isn't there. Now, maybe if more young people voted, it would be. But right now, it isn't there. It's not. It's not there. So, that's what matters, is political will. I hope you know that, right? You know why the 1964 Civil Rights Act got passed? Because of political will. That's why it got passed. Okay? The people were I think we should change this. And Congress passed it. Congress, both. You know what I'm saying? So, and the president ratified it. So, comparing that to sending money to Israel, and that's so much easier. Israel, they just want missiles for their Iron Dome. They just want weapons. That's easy. Weapons is easy. We're the biggest military in the world. Weapons is easy. Comparing that to reparations, which would be to help the black community, is a multifaceted, like, we're going to have to improve education. We're going to have to improve housing. We're going to have to fix neighborhoods. You're going to have to do so much that is like, this is not a one thing you just give people money and it fixes the problem. This is a multifaceted, like, this isn't just giving people weapons. So to even compare them two things, it's dumb. You don't understand that, like, it's dumb. It's not realistic. Nothing about it is realistic. It just doesn't make sense. And this is what I don't like about Charlamagne and her. And anybody who is spewing the same message as him about Biden and stuff. It's just, and this is why you shouldn't listen to anybody about politics. If you look at the facts, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. They're hating. They're talking about stuff that doesn't really matter. About Lil Wayne and Kodak Black getting pardoned. That doesn't matter. You know Trump did that. You know who they voted for. So think about this. Think about it. People talk so bad about Biden. They dog Biden. 35% rating. Approval rating. Right? Might be lower now. Right? And people were dogging him when he was in the campaign before. He's sleepy, he stutters, he's old, he looks so weak, and da-da-da-da. He's not energetic, you know. And he still beat Trump with record numbers. So you're telling me people dislike Biden so much that they voted Trump in, and, like, what are you hating on? Like, come on, bro. Just
feel embraced, to feel.
It's just dumb, bro. Like, and it just makes me angry because I'm a political science major, so I know more than most. And when most people talk about politics, they just don't understand. Like, they don't understand that a president gets elected. Like, just because you become president doesn't mean you can just pass whatever stuff you want. It doesn't mean that when you get in, you had all these election promises, but when you got in, maybe the House and Senate, like under Obama, the House and Senate was Republican, and they wasn't passing nothing. They wouldn't even give him a Supreme Court justice. Like, do you like just because you become the president, or like any politician, like, you're just one person at the end of the day representing a group of people that you represent in your district. In your, like, the president doesn't have unlimited power to just enact any policy, and so people get in. And, you know, I was disappointed when I went in. I'm like, Barack, I wish Barack did more. But I started learning more about the political system. I'm like, oh, he couldn't. Because, I mean, the House and Senate is Republican. If they don't vote anything through that he likes, or anything that he supports on his campaign trail, then, I mean, he could put as much bills up as possible. They're not getting passed. Like, it's just not going to get through, because that's how our political system works. It works off conflict. You need to have a good number of people that support something. You need to come together and participate. Like, both parties need to come together and what is that word? Not reconciliate. They need to put their brains together and come up with a solution that both parties like and that the people like. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a good deal. A good deal is when, like, both sides are mad that they didn't get some stuff they wanted in, but they came to a deal, and that's how it works, okay? And so, like, just at the end of the day, stop listening to people like Charlamagne. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, he just doesn't. He doesn't. I would smoke him in the debate. I would smoke him. I promise I would smoke him. I was smoking that Charlamagne pack, because Biden is doing way more than Trump. Might not be as energetic. And you're right. He said what's the name, would try to coup the government. But even then, like,
really,
look at
actually,
this.
Positively, is true.
Restart this.
I think President Biden historically has been a lack of a better word, a shitty elected official.
Which doesn't make any sense. Like I said, you know what I'm saying?
You know, Donald Trump is the end of democracy as we know it.
So you'd vote for Biden again?
I'm not saying either or, but I think, you know.
Like, this is dumb. So you're telling me somebody is the end of democracy and you won't say you're voting for Biden? That's it, bro. That's all I got to say. That's the end of the video. Just don't listen to people like Charlamagne. You got to look at the facts. I mean, obviously, if you come in here and you really agree with it, I'm not changing your mind first time you listen to me. You're going to call me dumb. It's what people did on the Joe Rogan video, but I really don't care because I'm right. At the end of the day, if you think Trump is better than Sleepy Joe, like, go back to school. Like, start reading some books. You know what I'm saying? We need to send you to a camp and, like, redo your mind because you're dumb. You're slow. You are. Okay? And if you think a president is the end of democracy and you won't tell other people to vote for Biden, you're lost. You're lost at the end of the day. So, like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you enjoy. That's really all I got to say.